Hi everybody, it's Colin here from Woodthorpe International. Well, the first half, or one leg over the halfway of the Trestle Bridge is done. And some interesting facts of amount of material, glue, things like that I've got to share with you. I just was fascinated by it. But this is the end or the middle of the bridge, and as you can see, that's the internal side of it, and the bottom bits here are the concrete it's setting, and that'll sit on the land, which will produce it might have rocks and stuff, and as you can see them going up, and that goes up like the hill towards the tunnel mouth, which will be another 100 mil further on, roughly. It might not be that, it'd be quite close though, but it is quite an impressive structure as it curls round, and the ground will rise, but the actual track, when you look on it, it's absolutely spot on for flatness. Now what I've still got to do, if we look down at it from here, that's half of the curve by one length, and if you notice here, there is the bridge for the what is going to be the stream, what's going to run through, and there'll be paths probably at each side, and at the other side there'll be probably a small pond behind, and then the helix will go round here. This goes round, and it's further away, so we can get the rock face on and decoration. But what I've decided to do, sitting on here, I think, and I'm 100% sure, I can get some 1.5 millimeter wood square, and I'm going to sit that directly under the rail. Now the sleepers will sit on top of it, and then at each side up to the rail I will plank it out, possibly with this stuff, because that's nice and thin. We are going to put one of these round the edge to give it like a I don't know what to call it really, just an edge really, and there'll be these 1 millimeter stuck on top, and there'll be 4 of them because there's going to be 2 tracks, and then a little walkway round the edge up to the track edge, and then you'll see through the track. If I just go and see if I can find a old piece of track, I'll show you. Hi, sorry about that. I just had to go and nick Gemma Stoneyall's programming track, because some of the straight track I've got is up in the loft. But that's it with the track on, so this will get covered from here, but the idea is you see through between the sleepers, and then there'll be a walkway down the edge, and every now and then, I don't know if I'm going to do it on the inside or out, I'm just going to have to check if there's any reasons for having it or on both. I'll have a little shelter stuck out where they can stand in it and be a bit further away if a train comes past, if the workers are on it. And naturally there'll be a train in the middle, a track on this side for the inside loop, and I've got to decide if I fill that. I'm going to have to do some, like I say, some more research just to try and get it as... I don't think there's any rules and regulations or anything except for the designer. I've looked, I've designed this, but as you can see, I've got this to this stage. When you saw it last, it was to here, and then I've made the 3 extra short legs and then this long one, and I've left these ties on, excuse the wire, I've left these ties stuck out, so when the other one joins on, I'll be able to use the ties to connect to the next leg. And the reason why this one doesn't have any crosses on at the moment, because this one, the crosses sit on top of the wood. Sorry if it's a bit out of focus. So if you look at that one there, let's have a if you look at this one, you can see how that is on top of that one and that one, and that's how this one has to be. So I need the next leg to have its crosses on attached to this, and then these go on top. And I've done it the same way on every one on both sides. From bottom right to top left is on the outside of the one behind, and basically that was stuck on first, goes off, and then that goes on and clips behind it, and with the pressure it pushes it on. But again, in the real world it would be nailed. Not nailed, there's not a nail in it. If I just show you, if I can get a bit of distance and just pick it up at half, which I think is halfway, you can see how rigid it is. You know, it's very very strong, which is quite handy because it's got the weight of the trains. Now, the one thing advantage with I-trains, from coming out of the tunnel mouth, which will be about there, onto this, I can make this bit of track a slower speed because they won't go racing over them, and I can reduce the speed, and I won't have to worry about what the train's doing because I-trains will control it and say, right, you're going into the next zone, that's slower, slows down, goes on it, and then when it goes off at the other side, it will speed up again. Now, the interesting facts, I'll just actually show you, looking at it from this way, and again the crosses are the same. But the interesting facts, you talk about rivet counters, well, this is wood counting. So on this particular segment there are 15 legs. These are the legs, as in the whole A-frame. That's a leg, a trestle leg. And altogether, just on this part, there is 25.25 meters of dowel to make the legs. Now, these bits, the ties and the bracing, the crosses, there is 63.9 metres up to now without these here, and that includes the internal ones here, the braces across, and the diagonals, and then the diagonals on the other side, which adds up to, for the cross pieces, for these, to glue them on, there are 780 separate blobs of glue. People can count rivets, well, I can count glue and wood. For the trestle legs, to glue them up to this bit, all of these, the diagonals for the bracing, for what is here, there is 1,235 separate blobs of glue. Oh dear. And then for gluing these ties, 3 each level, on every leg, there are 294 blobs, separate blobs of glue. They take some doing because they have to be wedged in and make sure they're sat tight up against the underneath side of these cross pieces. So I was fascinated and wondering, because I actually ordered 90 meters of this. Didn't have a clue if it would be enough. Well, barring 17 lengths, I haven't, that's all I've got left to make virtually the same again without this bit in. It might not go up the same, it might go up, it might be 2 at that level and then go up to that without having that, because it's all just random, you know. The land, as it comes down here, the land can be anything I make, but it'll be to this bridge, and then the water will come underneath. And then what's going to happen, if we can just imagine if this was the front edge here, the land will come and curve down a bit, but there'll be a gap in between the bottom and the underneath side of the, you know, the land, and that's because Japan has to run underneath the trestle bridge, underneath America land basically, and it's because there's a helix at the other side, I won't be able to get to it. I'm probably going to do Japan at this point going underneath on a skeleton baseboard, so I can get either side. But again, I don't want it to come off, so there has to be something there for it to land on if it happened. But that's the beauty, and up to now, excited by this. I think it's going to make a statement where it's going to be on the layout. It's going to be one of the first things, with all the rocks behind it, and above here there'll be a bit of a hill going up over the helix, and all the rock work, and then the water coming down. And naturally it's not going to be running water, but the effect of the water, and I'll be able to look down and film in between. But what I'm hoping to do, and I haven't got a train, but let me just see if I can go and get one. So I've just put these Swift American wagons on with an American train, but what I'm hoping to get, and I've only seen it in 00, and naturally Engage is a bit smaller, but if we can see when the wood, I'm trying to look and point, this bit will be covered in between, so you won't hardly see, but I'm hoping when it goes over, the light will reflect through the bottom of the sleepers as the train goes over it, and you'll be able to, it's very hard to do this when it's as low as it is on this table, but I'm hoping it'll make some nice shots of the scenery, and looking down like that with the other track on it, and standing further away from it, it'll make, like I say, when all the land's done, it'll make some interesting shots. That's what I'm aiming for, but that's it up to now. So there's 15 legs on this. I've got to do another 12 legs of various sizes. There'll be a few more to this length. What I may do is have like a bump in the land here, a big rock, and put some shorter ones over before it goes down to a long one, before it starts to rise again here to the other tunnel mouth, like this one here. So that's it up to now. I've just brought it in just to show it going around the helix. Now this isn't exactly in the right place because it's going to be further away, and it might not be at this particular position. Maybe it might not start here, I don't know yet, I haven't got that far, but that's what we're doing. We're covering the face, and the face of all this will have the rocks on and coming out underneath, and I've just propped it up on some actual train boxes, but just to show you it going round the helix. So, but like I say, it's going to be a lot further away, maybe that gap again, so that's why it might be on a actual skeleton underneath, because it may be outside this area here. So that's it up to now. So I hope that has given you an idea of what I'm up to. And as I say, as you walk in, it'll be lower, of course, because the actual bottom baseboard is at 2 foot, and the top one will be at 4 foot. So this will be 4 foot here, roughly, and then the weatherboard will be beneath. But that again, I don't know what heights all these are, because I'm just sat on top of one of the dog crates, and the just move that out of the way. But the assistant area controller is underneath the helix. So that is it. It's very enjoyable, it's quite rewarding, very time consuming, but overall it's taken me to put all this together from the point you saw last is less than 2 weeks. Not at it constant because you have to put some bits on and then let it dry. The hardest bit is graining the wood in one way, getting the wood grained, if I can focus on it, and colouring it with different colours to give it that old look as well. So that takes a bit of time, and wiping and rubbing the stuff off and stuff. There is one piece of dowel, I think it's actually that one there, thinking about it. Where's my finger there. I just love that part of the grain, what's been put in, and the one behind where it looks like it's cracked, especially that one behind. And I think that's just a lovely piece, just to show, you know, what happens with wood when it's outside. You know, it cracks and moves, and I don't know if I can get it to focus. With your eye, your naked eye, if you was looking like I am, it just looks different again. But I just like the different colours. It looks like it's gone a bit green in places. So that does take a little bit of time. Very easy to cut, Stanley knife, you know, whatever, just to cut it. You can snap it just to get, you know, roughly to the length, and then you make your curve, you know, and it just looks like it's curved round, and it is. But these, you don't do these in a long length, so you don't put it from there and have a continuous length, because that alone is probably a good length of wood. But that would be a manageable piece of wood for the men to handle. So anyway, it's been nice sharing this with you, and I look forward to getting the other half on and getting it ready for the start. So thanks very much, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye.